Hello and welcome to Lofty Pursuits and Public Displays of Confection in Tallahassee, Florida, where we make hard candy. This is Greg, and today we're going to make some white candy canes that we call snow candy canes. Like just about all of our candy, we start by heating the sugar up to 310 degrees and pouring the heated solution on our Cullum's Candy Cooler, this great big candy cooling table from the late 1800s. We do that to let the sugar cool down and to get it from a liquid into a malleable clay sort of format. And we need it in a clay format to make candy canes. You see, the white ones are special for us. They don't use corn syrup and they don't use food coloring. A lot of people, we discover, just can't enjoy candy canes at Christmas because of the constant red food coloring or the fact that almost all of them are made with corn syrup. Ours is not made with either, and these white ones are sort of a special treat so that everyone can enjoy the Christmas season with candy canes from Lofty Pursuits. The cooling table does a great job of cooling what it's touching, which means the parts of the candy that are right against the bars and the tabletop. The rest of it stays quite hot, and when I cut it apart, I let those hot bits drip out onto the tabletop, and they will cool, and then I put the cool parts on top of it, and they will heat up from the sugar as well. By doing this, I'll eventually end up with candy that's the same temperature throughout, and that's what I want to do. I need to make it malleable for the next step. What you can't tell because you can't smell through the screen, or maybe you can, is that the candy is flavored already. It's flavored with peppermint, which in this concentration is eye-watering for the candy maker. And we're going to be manipulating the candy. You may have noticed there are two pieces of candy. One is going to remain the natural amber of the candy, and we'll use that for the stripes because we do want two colors for the candy cane. And the other half we're going to make white, but we're going to do this without any food coloring. We have several ways to make the candy white, either completely manually on our candy hook, and we do that for smaller batches. When a batch becomes too heavy, we turn to our sugar puller. Many people refer to this as a taffy maker, but it really is used for any type of pulling of sugar. What it does is it folds in air. And those little air bubbles come in and get trapped in the candy, and they each reflect light. And this is wonderful because it makes the candy look white, even though the candy is truly amber. And the reflection of light is like putting little mirrors in the candy. We end up putting millions and millions of them in by folding the candy dozens, if not 100 times with this machine. And it ends up being a great thing for adding flavor. You see, all those air bubbles means that when you put the candy in your mouth, the candy has more surface area exposed to your tongue, which means the candy dissolves a little faster, and you end up with more peppermint oil on your tongue, and it improves the flavor of the candy. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the white candy we just pulled on the machine. But if you take a look at the amber candy that I'm working with, you'll now see clearly the two colors we're going to be working with, and we did this completely without any addition of food coloring. I'm going to separate my block of amber candy into stripes for the candy cane. We're going to have one wide stripe and three thin stripes, and this will be separated with white stripes. Which always leaves the question, is the candy cane a white candy cane with colored stripes or a colored candy cane with white stripes? Unfortunately, the only ones that know the answer to this would be found in a 7-nation army, and I've never found a 7-nation army to ask. Besides how cool these candy canes are just because they taste and look so cool, and of course can be enjoyed by more people, including people who have food coloring and corn syrup allergies, we like them because they're really traditional Victorian. If you look at the history of candy canes, and the history of candy canes is best tracked by looking through the history of greeting cards, because Christmas greeting cards have historically showed candy canes on it, we can tell that the colored stripes on candy canes are a fairly new phenomenon. It's only in the early 20th century that you can find candy canes with colored stripes on them in greeting cards. And this kind of makes sense. The art of food coloring is a relatively modern phenomenon. They had food coloring back in the day, but those colors tended to break down at high temperatures and turn brown. And nobody wanted brown candy, I guess. So, they ended up making candy canes that were white, just like the white peppermint sticks they made the rest of the year. And this is not to say that red stripes did not appear in candy before the 20th century. I have a candy cookbook from 1884 that has instructions on how to put colored stripes in candy, but it wouldn't have been common, and it didn't leave enough of a cultural impression for it to show up as a standard thing on greeting cards. I have 8 stripes so far, 4 white and 4 amber, and I need twice that number. I need to multiply them. And the beautiful thing is candy, like multiplication, is communicative. All I have to do is stretch it out, cut it in half, and I have 2 sets of stripes, and I get all the stripes for half the work. Now that our stripes are ready, we take the white sugar that we reserved back at the beginning, and we roll it into a cylinder and put it in the center. Now we'll have the makings of one gigantic candy cane, but since we want a bunch of them, we have to narrow it down. We start by pinching off the end, and then we use gravity to help us stretch it into a straight taper, and we cut off the little end. So now you want to try some of our candy canes. It's easy, just go to www.pd.net and order some. We ship just about everywhere. Or you can just click on the eye at the top of the screen. But the nice thing about candy canes is we don't have to waste this end. We can bring it over to the back. We can make a little hole in it, and we can hide it in the center of the white candy. Even with commercial candy canes, if you break them open occasionally, you can find a little red dot in the middle, or whatever color the candy cane is. And that's a sign that they reused the end and didn't waste any candy. Sort of a candy maker's tradition and the candy maker's secret that I'm letting you in on. Thank you for watching. If you ever want to visit us in person and you're in Tallahassee, Florida, please come on by. We're right off the I-10 exit at Thomasville Road. You can also get our candy worldwide shipped to you. Just go to our website, www.pd.net, or click on the I at the top of this video. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, we have a lot of these videos and we make them regularly. Please subscribe to us here on YouTube and click on that alerts button. You might get some good alerts and you might find out about our other videos. Once again, thank you for watching. We wouldn't be here without you.